it's like, what can we do? You know, that's how it makes you feel.
You're trying to figure out what can you do. I like that. Hold on, y'all. Let's take a quick break. We're going to I'm trying to make sure that everybody who wants to see this can see it. So we're now on YouTube, okay? So we're gonna see how this goes, okay? I'm hoping YouTube holds up for us a little bit better than Facebook did. And now I need to tell everybody to come over here. Okay, so you all can text your family too and tell them, hop on to YouTube. Okay, so text family, tell them to hop on to YouTube. And I'm gonna put it on the church's page. We are all learning here, y'all. All right. No, I actually want to watch it.
I'm like, somebody sneeze.
Okay, I'm thinking it's there, y'all. Okay, it's there. We're live on YouTube. Okay, we're live on YouTube. Let me make the post. I appreciate y'all being patient with me.
Of course.
No problem. Yeah. No problem.
Come on, now my typing skills are acting crazy.
Get on Twitter.
YouTube.com/thegrow.
Gonna be some clicks on Twitter, I'm sure.
All right, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be up and running in just a second, y'all. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, I'm gonna share this. All right, so people start to come over to, people are gonna start to come over to YouTube. Live stream health is good. Okay. We have 3 people watching so far. So I'm gonna give folks a few minutes. Okay, Sister Drake, good to see you. Let's see here. I see folks are jumping in. Come on in, y'all. We are figuring it out and trying our hardest. To get it right. Come on over, come on over. I'm going to text.
You want me to cast it to the TV?
Oh, you got it?
All right, we got 6 people. Y'all come on over.
I mean, I would. Well, I presume. I can still tweet while it's casted, I think.
Yes, you can still tweet. We want you to tweet.
I figured I could. I mean, figure it out when we get there. He just locked me in up there. So why is it not?
Okay, all right. People are starting to get it. They're coming over. Hey, Deacon Boyer. Sister Cohen, hey, y'all, come on over. We are figuring out the technology tonight. Make sure we are live.
Yeah.
We want you to tweet. All right.
Figure it out when we get there.
Okay, listen, as you are coming over to, okay, all right, y'all, we got this thing worked out, I believe. What's YouTube is holding up a little bit better for us. Okay. So,
Yeah, muted.
okay. Listen, y'all, we gotta, our audience is growing, We're telling everybody to meet us on, to like and share. That didn't share.
Wait, he's not really talking right now. I think he's figuring something out.
Okay. So we're live on YouTube, so that means it's gonna live on YouTube, which is actually a good thing. Perfect. Come on over, y'all. Listen, so we're going to go ahead and jump back into our conversation. It'll be here on YouTube. We're going to make sure that we share that. So we are literally boop, hitting the reset button and starting our conversation again. Excited that YouTube seems to be more of our friend than Facebook. So let me copy the streaming link, and you know what, I'm gonna post that to Facebook so that way they know to come join us. I apologize, but appreciate you all's patience.
We're near though.
All right, so we're gonna jump right back in. We're gonna actually start over with our question because I want to make sure that everybody hears all of you all's thoughts. I want to make sure that everybody hears all of you all's thoughts. Okay. All right, so we're gonna click it and we're gonna start all over again. Close that window. And click this so that pulls up. All right, y'all. Boom, here we go. Here we go. All right, we're streaming, we're rolling. Looks like it's good on YouTube. Okay, and everybody's with us. They're with us and ready. Okay, y'all. So as we are now live on YouTube, we were trying to figure out the Facebook situation, but it won't work with us. But thankfully, YouTube is our friend tonight. Fingers crossed and prayers up. All right. So I want to start over again with the question. When you all saw the video, if you've seen the video, or you initially heard about Mr. George Floyd, how did you feel? How did you feel?
I was personally really sad to see that because how he just, like, his last breath and stuff was so sad. And like, just like him dying right there and all of those like 3 other cops sitting there and they didn't do anything. Personally, that to me, that was really sad.
Sad. You made an interesting point. For him to have to take his last breath under those kinds of conditions, it's sad. It's sad. It's disappointing. Sis made an earlier comment about feeling disappointed. Can you unpack that again for us? Why disappointed?
It's just disappointing to like be able to see another Black man's death on video. And it's just very disappointing to be able to see it and having to be like scared if that's going to be like your father next or like your brother. It's disappointing to have to live in that type of in this world when that's okay, quote unquote.
So disappointing not only to think that it could be somebody connected to you, but that it feels like it's okay with the world.
Yes, like it's something that's not so far off. Like that it's not something that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Now, Leslie, you made a comment when we were live earlier about not even being able to get through the entire video. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was just so much anger that has been built up after seeing it over and over again. I just couldn't bring myself to watch more than I could, like more than 20 seconds of it. I've seen it before and I just can't see it again.
It's almost like just the feelings of it. You're like, no, I can't stomach this. I can't stomach this again. Yeah. Jared, as a Black man seeing that, how did you feel?
So yeah, I was very angry, very disappointed, much like majority of the other people who saw the video were. And then I do remember having this I do remember seeing the video. I had this conversation with my mom, and the first thing I said was, you know, like, I get it that we're at a certain point where we cannot step in and say, hey, that's wrong what you're doing. Get your knee off of that man's neck. He's already in handcuffs. He's already under custody. Like, they if you watch the whole video, if you see the full video, they beat him while he was in the car before they even pulled him out to strangle him to death. They beat him while he was in the car. So for me, it's like, I feel like nothing more than an animal to this country's government, if that makes sense. Because it's like, if that can happen, and then not only do we have to push and riot for them to call this a murder and to have this man charged, it's like we have to go that far just for them to see this is inhumane. All because we're a badge. And I think that's just very, very angering.
So there are some people who would say, well, if you just follow the laws, if you just follow their instructions, these things won't happen. What do you all think when you hear those kinds of responses? Something like this is
first, it's ignorant, because a woman died in her house playing video games with her nephew and died. A child had Skittles and a drink in his pocket and died. A person had a fake $20 bill that was now found to be real and died. Even if we do break the law, and it's not even something that's that big of a deal, we die. Speaking out shouldn't be a way that we're murdered. And back to what he said, we had the right to get the man charged for murder, and it was 3rd degree. That wasn't an accident.
3rd degree, as if it were an accident. Exactly.
It's ignorant. People can't see past their privilege to understand that.
Privilege. You know, I got to write that down so that we can come back to that. We got to come back to that. So, some people say, I want to hear from those of you who hadn't spoke on it. I mean, he shouldn't have had a fake $20 bill. Like, how do we respond to that? What do we say to that when people use that to make it seem like this is okay?
You can't say stuff like that, because the boy who shot up that church and killed 9 people was walked out calmly in a bulletproof vest. And then they got him food before they brought him to jail. I stopped on my bike and had my book bag searched because there were reports of stolen bikes in the area. Wow. It's not just follow the rules and you'll be fine. Because if that man was, if the case was follow the rules and you'll be fine, they already had him in handcuffs. There was no reason for them to sit there with an officer's knee and another officer on the man's legs, because you didn't see that part of the video because the car was blocking. But there was another officer on this man's legs. There's nothing you can do to justify that happening to you. Nothing. Because, like I said, the boy shot up that church and they carried him out in a bulletproof vest. This man had a fake $20 bill and they already had him in handcuffs before they killed him. So it's like you can't even use those as counter arguments. It's ignorant.
Yeah, I think it's basically just hate and unjustified fear of Black people for some reason that causes them to think that, like, we'll just do whatever we want to do. And so even if we are following directions for some reason, they can't understand that they don't need to be excessive.
And Leslie, what do you think creates that fear? Like, why do you think other people fear us because of the color of our skin?
Because we're able to do things that we weren't able to do in the past, and they feel that their status is getting lowered, but all we're doing is rising where we should have been in the first place.
Mhm. So it's almost as though they're afraid of us because we're succeeding even in the face of some of this stuff. Is that kind of
Absolutely.
okay? Okay. Now, a huge word just came up that we hear a lot now, but some people may not necessarily know what you mean when you say that. When you say privilege, what do you mean when you say that?
The fact that your skin won't be used against you. The simple fact of that. Like he said, like a boy walked into a school and shot and killed humans and walked out alive. And a child had a water gun on his property and died. It's not because two boys, not because he had short hair, not because his eyes were brown, no, it was because he was a Black boy and you saw him as a threat. And you gave the white boy the, oh, he has mental illness, or he was being bullied, and lots of people have mental illnesses, but they don't kill people. That's not what they do.
When Black boys act out because they're being bullied, they get detention and ISS and they get reprimanded. Nobody ever sits there and says, why are you so angry? Nobody ever sits there and literally tries to get into the minds of these young oppressed Black men, and they grow up to be regular citizens and still function, and they get treated like this because people are scared of us. Pastor, I have the same question you have. What can I do as a young Black man in America to scare a cop? Why they would be more scared of me than I would be of them? Because I mean, let the record show, we're on the losing side. Not only that, they're trained and armed, and I'm just minding my business. So when you as a trained officer say, "Oh, I feared for my life," that shouldn't be valid. That shouldn't be valid. Every officer signs up and goes to that job knowing that when they go on the street, their life would be in danger potentially. They sign up for that. They go through training to deal with that mentally. And then for you to say, oh, I shot because I feared for my life. You don't think he was scared for his life? And he stood there and complied. I'm sure George Floyd was very terrified for his life before they handcuffed him. And he still let them handcuff him and even got in the car. So it's like, that kind of stuff is just like very infuriating. And it's very hard for me to even understand the other side.
Right. So, Leslie, you wrote an absolutely amazing Maya Angelou level piece on Facebook the other day. And I'll be honest with you, between the post about Jared with his mom kind of processing this and then reading your piece, like it really was the motivation for this conversation. And you really titled your piece, "This America is Sickening." Can you unpack your piece for us and kind of how it came together, like what was happening in your head as that happens, and kind of now that you shared that piece with the world, how do you feel?
Well, I wrote that at 5 a.m. because I was up tossing and turning, couldn't sleep. And I just needed an outlet to get my feelings out. I was before that, I was just like, I couldn't do anything but be quiet or I'd cry. So I had to figure out a way to get my feelings out. And I just started describing what is wrong with America and how it makes me feel. And I just wanted to write down all the questions I had about why we are still in this place and why people can't understand what we are fighting for. And so that's really just how it came about. And the words just kind of flowed out.
And once you dropped that piece and you started to see all of the response back from that, what was your thought?
I was grateful that a young voice was being heard that out there, especially on where my audience is mainly older. So I was just curious to see how it would be received, and receiving a lot of encouragement to continue to speak up, and a lot of people saying that they understood me and they stood with me. It really made me emotional and grateful that we were being heard as young people.
So you raise an interesting point, being heard as young people. What support can we offer? What resources can we offer you all to help support your vision or how we move things forward? Because you all do have an amazing amount of intellect and your analysis of these situations. Like, what can we do to support you and to help in this work, right? We realize it's not just older people who are doing it, it's not just young people that are doing it, but what can we do to partner with you to help? And that's for anybody.
I would say I didn't get a chance to get on Facebook and actually read the post my mom posted, but over the past few days she has been telling me, oh, so and so wanted to check on you. Everybody been making sure you're not in Atlanta right now rioting. Everybody wants to know if you're okay, how you feel, and that's very helpful. That in itself, just knowing that alone is helpful as a Black person in this country. Knowing that there are people who do care about me and wouldn't want to see me on the news jumping on cop cars and blowing stuff up like I want to do, you know, that's helpful. If those people would even just take the time to reach out and make sure that the young people they know are safe during these times. Like my roommate and his brothers were arrested last night. They got released like early this morning. So it's like, you know, it's very real and it's very close because I would have went with them. I would have went with them, you know? So what stopped me? Oh, my gas tank isn't full. That stopped me. And I promise you, that's the only reason I wasn't in Atlanta with them. I would have been right in the cell with them too.
So if gas tank wasn't on E, I'd be there.
For sure. Because I mean, I just can't stomach. I just can't imagine being one of those people that you can hear in the back of the video and not just being too angry to not react violently towards those cops. Because I know for a fact, if I see something like that, I'm not just gonna sit there. I'm not. It's gonna be impossible for me. Even knowing that I could die stepping into a situation like that, it wouldn't stop me. That's how a lot of Black young men feel in America. And that's why you see them looting and tearing down the streets, because they feel like if we tear up the country, they can't stop us. But they don't know that they can be stopped still, because they have too much power over the way society works for us to be able to just tear it all down. So reach out to as many young people as you can, as many little heads that you see, and just, you know, let them know you care about them. Let them know that they don't have to riot and burn the world to the ground for them to matter. Because that's how it feels. That's how it feels to us. It feels like if we don't burn down the whole country and start over, we'll never matter.
Wow. Wow.
And I don't fault them. The people who are stomping on cars and causing chaos, I don't blame them. I don't fault them for that. But I do believe that there are better ways to go about the change that they want to see.
You did something so powerful. It feels like if we don't burn the world down and start over, we'll never matter. Ladies, when you all hear that, when you watch what's happening with you know, the rioting and protesting, and it can sometimes escalate and turn violent, and the looting. Like, what do you feel like when you hear that? Do you agree that it feels like if we don't burn the world down and start over, we'll never matter? Or what are your thoughts when you see the protests and how some of them are being escalated by a small group of people?
What's really messed up is sometimes it's not even Black people at all. Like it's a lot of white people who are using the Black Lives Matter movement as some type of vigilante act. Like, this is their time. They could be Batman and Superman because no one can stop them. Like, there's lots of videos going around of Black people yelling at white people to tell them to stop because they're destroying Chick-fil-A's and Walmarts for literally no reason. And and they don't take it seriously because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are going to take the fault for it.
Yes,
And we always are.
Like, same personally, I don't think that the rioting and them setting things on fire is a good idea. Like, because that's like our community, like they'll be breaking in the malls and stuff. And I'm like, we go to the malls. Like, I'm all I can really think is what's gonna happen after this. Like, there's been all these protests for like 3 days straight. I'm like, what's gonna happen after this? After this, we're gonna try to go back to the normal world, and everything's gonna be broken. They're gonna have to rebuild everything. Like, we can't. Targets are shutting down because they don't want any of this. Like, places are getting broken into. I'm like, what was the point? I mean, like, I see the point, but there wasn't a point of robbing stores. Like, yeah, what London said, they're trying to, like, this isn't the purge. Like, you're not supposed to be running in stores and taking stuff. Like, just because nobody's going to stop you still doesn't mean you can do it. And people, there's like peaceful protests, and then there's a handful of people who just came so they can sneak away and steal stuff from stores and then get away with it. Like, but it's going to be put on, like, mostly they're going to be like, oh, those Black people did it. You know, those Black rioters. Like, and it's sometimes really not even us. Like, that's how I just feel. But sometimes, oh, what did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was tossing to Leslie as you were finishing because you ended on a strong point. It's not even us. So most times it's not even us. So Leslie, what are your thoughts about the protests, the riots, the looting?
Yeah, I am kind of in the middle on this one. I completely understand where people are coming from with it. In so many movements, burning things has been a way to get people's attention, because if it doesn't hit their pockets, they won't listen. Just walking down a street is like, to some people, it's like, okay, block traffic for a few hours and I'll just go about my life. But when you have like a Nordstrom that was looted, and then after that Nordstrom put out a statement, that's where it hits them. So although I don't agree with the strategy that people are using with it, I don't feel that it's a completely unfounded idea. I just wish that people would actually plan, like, before you go and burn something down, make sure it's not a Black business. Like that kind of thing. That's just like, you've got to be smart about it, because now you just look dumb on the news. And even if there were white people there, which is a whole conversation, you just got to make sure that you're not tainting the movement by doing that.
One of the historical pieces that's interesting that I'd love to get you all's thoughts about, the US government, and I posted this the other day, the US government has a well-known, well-documented history, track record of planting people in these peaceful protests who escalate them, so that then the news coverage is not about the protests, it's about the violence or the looting. There was even a video floating around that did some facial recognition to say that one of the Caucasian men that they identified as throwing Molotov cocktails into in businesses was actually a Minneapolis police officer. Again, they're still working to confirm that. So when you hear stuff like that, how does that then shape your view of protesting and demonstrating and kind of what we would call direct action in the struggle for justice. When you hear that they're trying to do this, does that make you say, well, maybe we should pull back? Does it make you say we should do more of it and be more organized, as Leslie said? Like, does that change your thoughts about protest?
Not at all, because they've done this for a long time. It's not a new idea. Like, they have this whole thing where they call it color of the day, and undercover police officers will have a special color that they wear. And you can only figure out, like, you have to see a group of people randomly having like white bandanas or orange bandanas. It's not a new idea. And sadly, with all the good things that we could do in the United States, breaking down a movement that's supposed to help Black people is what they choose to waste their energy on destroying.
Yeah, I saw this Instagram post where it was a photo of, like, it looked like a person protesting. We had like the little wired headphones, yeah. And I was like, and it was like, watch out for them, they're starting stuff. So we looked back, and I really felt some type of way. I was like, dang, like what was the point of that, to making us look bad? Like, we're trying to change, and then you're over here walking around throwing bombs like, oh, these rioters, when it's actually you. Like, why are you doing that? Like, I see some cops, I see some of those videos when they're like Black people and the chiefs are hugging each other. I saw one video of them, a woman and a cop dancing. I'm like, they look like they want to help, and I don't think it's all for them, for those cops and chiefs. I don't think it's not like, oh, get those Black people. I'm like, seeing those videos right now, because opening Instagram, I actually had to delete Instagram because it was like, this is too much. I just had to take a break. And then opening Instagram and seeing cops and Black people dancing together, it was like, wow, that's really nice right now. And then I go to someone else's story, and it's like, yeah, that he did. Watch out for my boy. Yeah, the cops got him. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? Like, it's just really sad seeing that right now.
So it's almost like there are these two extremes. You have like the extreme of the George Floyd video, and then you have this other extreme where it's this dancing and, police officers kneeling and all of that type stuff. So Jared, Leslie, I want to come to y'all. Like, how do you all reconcile those two extremes?
Yeah, I think you have to be smart about it and really read up on things. I saw a post where it was talking about this white guy who got arrested for starting a few fires in a building. And underneath the comments, it was almost 50-50 split of free this guy and, oh, he was planted, stop ruining our movement. And it ended up being that guy is likely to be a white supremacist. So I think people need to do their research and read before they comment. And it's partly our responsibility to not just follow the crowd. And I think that's kind of part of the reason why we are getting more attention in the media, because when you see a few white people smash a window and then run off, then you see 20 Black people go up to that same window and start and, finish the job and steal everything in the store. That's partly our responsibility, because we have herd mentality to just do what we see. And so I think when you're seeing these two extremes, you've got to research and be smart about it, and don't just follow the crowd.
Yeah, it's very, very easy for the media to lead the public in the wrong direction. It's very hard to actually find out what actually occurred, because there's so many different stories, there's so many different twisted narratives. Like at that Target in Minneapolis, the one that got raided and just torn down, really, the reason why people did that is because when the protesters started getting tear gassed, the Target refused to sell them milk. And that's why people started to run into Target and loot it. It's like, well, we're gonna steal this milk, we're gonna steal this, we're gonna take that. And it's like, you just have to, like she said, you have to be very careful. You have to be very smart and read and go all the way back to the source. Don't just read the first little excerpt, or don't just read the headline that doesn't identify anything. Go find out, do your own research, because a lot of people see it and then they just immediate anger. Because I understand, they see something like They see something like this on the news every day. They see stuff like this on Twitter every day, and it always gives the same reaction because that's what the media is looking for. But as people, we should push further and we should dig deeper.
So to switch gears a little bit for a moment, all of you all are attending schools where we are not the majority. For me, of my 4 degrees, 3 of them are from Baruch schools. I attended University of Pittsburgh, where I had to. It wasn't an HBCU, and I was like, "Yeah, give me my degree. I'm ready to bounce." I was talking with my wife and my cousin and her husband last night, and I haven't worked in a setting that wasn't predominantly African American since 2012. How do you all, just to be frank, how do you all navigate those spaces where we're not, quote unquote, the majority? Your schools, you know what I mean? Like, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, I feel like because of where I grew up in having a diverse school for this area, at least for Cobb County, Hillgrove is pretty much 50-50 white minority. It wasn't like being around white people was rare from elementary and up. So it's kind of like you just learn to adjust and find your place and figure out who is for you and who's against you, and you kind of just figure out how to read people, who you're going to trust. And I feel like now I'm in a really different situation because my Georgia Tech is very white, but it's also very Asian. And so it's like weird that we have that you can say that it's like, oh, 40% minority, but it's really not Black people that make up that group of people. So it brings a whole different element of different cultures and everything that's very beneficial, but it's also trying to still navigate where you are, because we are below the Asians and then it goes up to the white people. So it's a different kind of hierarchy that I haven't really figured out yet.
So do you feel like the Asians are treated better than us? Even though they're considered people of color, right? We use
Right.
that term, but you feel like in terms of like hierarchy, they're still higher than us.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I don't really know how to word this. I wouldn't say I navigate really very much at all. I just kind of stick with my side. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really. I mean, I have a couple majority friends. I have friends of every group. I'm not prejudiced in any way, but I just tend to be around my Black friends, and I tend to hang out with my Black friends, and I tend to see them more, simply because I guess it's just easier to relate, and it's easier to talk to them. But I do have plenty friends that aren't like me, and I talk to them a lot, and a lot of them, like, I like to see they speak out on these issues as well. And I feel like that's where it really comes into play. That's how you would go into navigating whether or not, you can really be friends with some of these people, because you don't know their true intentions. As long as you're sure that someone understands the issues you face every day and they're not doing anything to make those issues worse, if they're trying their best to keep stuff like that from happening, I'm all for that. And I'm all for everybody being, what's the right word? I wouldn't say cordial, but more so cohesive in building a diverse society that, doesn't take this kind of stuff lightly, because it is a problem, and it always has been. Actually at Georgia Southern, there was an incident where some students had burned a textbook that they disagreed with. A bunch of freshmen were like, they put it on social media, they burned some textbook. the textbook was about diversity. It was for a first year experience class on diversity. The name of the class was like ethics and diversity or something like that. And they disagreed with what white privilege was. And so they burned their books. And that was very difficult to deal with as a student, because it's like, all right, I don't know which one of y'all feel that way, but white privilege is a real thing. And there was a point in time where I could stand up in my lecture hall, and I don't know if this would be safe or whatever, but I stood up and I said, my name is Jared Walker. White privilege is a real thing. And so are so many other things. If you would like to talk about it, I'm over here. You can come see me after class. And I sat there after class, and a couple people came up to me and they asked, you know, like, why do you think white privilege is real? And, you know, I pissed a couple people off, but that's what you got to do. These are hard conversations that need to be had. And I feel like people get so uncomfortable with it. They don't know how to push their friends and their peers to have those uncomfortable conversations with their family and their friends who also, you know, may be a little ignorant to certain things.
So y'all, we are approaching 7:53. I know we got started a few minutes late, but my goal was to only take up an hour of your time. But I have one more question, and then I'll open the floor. Whatever y'all want to say, talk about, let's roll. What's your vision for your community? Like, what's your vision for your community? Like, when we see this, we know that in order for us to be moving towards something, we got to have a goal. There's got to be something we say, all right, this is what we're working towards. What do you all feel like, from your perspective, from your lived experience, like, what should we be working towards? What kind of goal should we be trying to pursue?
Personally, for me, I kind of want a goal of Black people not like fearing the cops, because I know at school, like, I'll be walking to school and like we have like 3 police officers at school, and then we'll just be walking and I hear people behind me like, there go 12, just look down, and then they'll always be staring at us and stuff, and I'm just like, I wish. And then I see some of the white kids like, oh hey officer, and just be like dapping them up, and I'm like, I wish we had that same, like, I wish we could say the same, and like just to be like cool together, like just to go over to your neighbors and be like, hey girl, and be like, hey, and not for them to be like, you know her, you know that Black girl, you know that white girl. I'm like, why can't we just like chill together? Like, you only live once, so why don't you just make it great? Like, it doesn't have to be so negative if you really don't want it to be.
Okay, I like that. Who else? What else should we be working towards? What are the visions? And I'm taking notes too, y'all. So what else should we be working towards?
For me, I want this is gonna sound weird, but like a change, like a big change, like the government to be like dismantled and changed. Because we all know the government is built off the discrimination and oppression of Black people and would only work with the discrimination and oppression of Black people. And it needs to be changed. There needs to be change. And Black people need to be accepted into society and seen as humans. Like, our culture needs to stop being like nitpicked and taken pieces of, but when we do it, it's ghetto and ratchet, and our stuff becomes trends. But then when we do it, we're just, you guys didn't create that, stop claiming everything. Like, we need to be, in the future, we need to be accepted as human beings.
Wow. Jared, Leslie, either one of you all, feel free to jump in. Your vision for us, like, what should we be working towards, moving towards?
Personally, I would say like a tangible goal. Personally, in my community of Marietta, there needs to be a lot more Black-owned businesses on Marietta Square.
Okay.
People aren't even from Marietta come to Marietta to hang out, just to chill, to go eat, do whatever. But I mean, if you don't see any Black-owned businesses, you don't see Black people in a place, you know, that's a lack of representation. And I also feel another thing is just, it shouldn't be, it's not like we're asking for something ridiculous. It's not like we're out here rioting and burning down the city because we want cheaper Nikes. That's not what's going on here. All we want to do is matter. You know what I'm saying? All we want is for our lives to have value. It shouldn't take riots, several hundreds and thousands of people to get arrested. And it shouldn't take martyrs. It shouldn't take martyrs after several hundred years of oppression, still to this day. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be people still being martyred in 2020. It shouldn't be that way as citizens and not be treated as second class because of our skin color. Because there's nothing we can do to change that. I'm not about to go bleach my skin. Nobody is about to, you know, some people do, but that's also because of the way that this system works and the way that makes you feel as a person here in this country. It's not too much to ask to be equal. It's not. And I feel like a lot of people on the other side are making it a big production, and they're saying, you know, all lives matter and, you know, that sort of thing, where that shouldn't even be said. You know what I mean? Because I mean, we got into a discussion yesterday, me and my mom, and she said, what was it that you said? It's like, if you break a bone and you go to the doctor, if you break your arm, they don't look at your leg like, well, all bones matter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Wow.
for me, it's very absurd that we are still to this day just trying to matter.
Wow. Jared, that is deep. If I break my arm, I don't care if my leg matters. Like, I need my arm fixed.
Your arm is broken. You need it strapped up, and it's gonna be in that sling for an amount of time. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of the same thing with the country. If we need to, a lot of people, and I don't know, maybe this is wrong of me, maybe I need to do some internal searching, but I don't mind if they tear down the whole country. I don't mind. If the people want to riot and burn the whole government to the ground, so be it. If that's what it takes to matter, then I'm for that. Because it is not absurd for me to be an American citizen, like, and not have a voice and not be able to be protected and served by the people who are trained to protect and serve. Serve that, I see those blue lights, and the first thought in my head is, am I gonna die? Am I gonna go to jail? Not am I gonna be arrested? Not what am I gonna tell my mom? How am I gonna pay this ticket? It's, am I going to survive this interaction?
Wow.
Whereas if a white man is stopped by the cops, he worried about, you know, am I gonna get this ticket? I wonder what's going on. Me, my first thought, and for a lot of my peers, their first thought is this it? I call my mom immediately, put her on speaker. I'm being stopped right now. Stay on the phone. Every time. Because it's like, I can't fault those people for causing chaos when we're being treated like animals anyway. It's like, you know, back to say what you said earlier. You said something about, you know, we're always taught just follow the rules. You know, why don't you just follow the rules? But even if we do, we're looking as thugs and criminals. Even if I got my pants all the way up, you know, in middle school, they used to come by and zip tie your pants up, you know, so that you couldn't sag, or they would pull them up for you or say something to you. Even if I don't have my pants up, they're still coming with that zip tie, even if I got my pants up. So it's kind of like, even if I got all my ducks in a row and I'm doing everything I should be doing, I could still be stopped or detained or whatever. They tased because I fit the description. And that's simply what it is. You fit the description. They tased a boy before they even got him out his car. They busted his window and dragged his girlfriend out the car too, simply because he was there. And this was the news like yesterday. Like, so it's like that is so disheartening to a young American in this country, for them to watch this unfold and for them to be basically doing nothing about it. Yes, it's been the past 4 days, people have been rioting and protesting. So it's like, what are they going to do in 4 days? But I understand how the government works. They need to make it work a little faster. Right. It doesn't matter at this point. If people are still losing their lives, speed it up.
Right.
It's disheartening. It makes you feel like you don't matter. It makes you feel like you don't have a place here. It makes you feel like you belong anywhere else. So for a lot of people in this country, they feel like Well, if it don't matter, if I'm gonna be arrested and detained, if I'm gonna be treated like an animal anyway, why not go out there and act like one? Why not go out there and take on the whole country? So I hate those people, but there are reasons why they shouldn't. They just don't know those reasons. We need to go out there and protest with our brothers and sisters and tell them about, you know, the undercovers that are inside the crowds inciting a riot, the systematic ways we can go about change and actually, you know, voting. Go vote. Go vote. It's really that important.
Yeah.
It's just its own thing. As long as you vote in every election, we can start to see some changes. It won't be immediate, but people right now, it's got to a point where we're looking for immediate change, because we shouldn't have to wait 2 months for them to say it's wrong to kill Black people. You know what I'm saying? Even if they do go and say, oh, this is a bill, it's going to stop police brutality. Nobody wants to wait on that to get passed and signed by everyone, because it's absurd that we should have to. It's absurd. We should have to ask to matter. So people are angry about that. I get it.
Leslie, your vision, what should we be working towards, moving towards?
I think we should be moving towards being more educated about our past and how we should be able to move forward. I think part of the anger comes from not knowing a lot about where we are currently too. I was talking to my family the other day about how I wish there was a way that people could try to figure out what their leaders are doing. Like if everyone knew that people are trying in their community, then I feel like that would at least give people hope. And a lot of anger comes from just not knowing if you're ever going to get out of the situation. So I feel like if we are more educated about where we are as a society and ways to fix it, that would help heal us a little bit more. And I also wish that, like, as Black people, we were more comfortable talking to other races about these issues. Even though it's so difficult doing it's kind of liberating, even if they don't understand or don't receive it, or they get defensive, or try to play the victim, because they do that too. I feel like you get some satisfaction of knowing that you said your piece. And so I feel like we need to be better about saying our piece, but not do it in a way of like from anger, but from I know you and I am willing to educate you. So I feel like if we educate ourselves and then don't make it necessarily our job to educate them, but be comfortable if the situation comes up, I feel like that's where I feel like we should strive to be.
Yeah, because you raise a valid point. Sometimes it can be so emotional or so overwhelming or so frustrating to the point where you're like, ugh. But like you said, being able to have very honest, real, hard conversations is critically important. I have taken up more of you all's time, and y'all have been so patient through our crazy Zoom issues tonight. Before I provide an opportunity for you all to say whatever you want to say in conclusion, let me say that you all are absolutely phenomenal. Like, real talk, y'all. Like, this idea just kind of popped up in my head. Y'all know I was randomly texting and Facebooking and all of that. And Jared put me through a whole police interrogation about the conversation. But y'all have been absolutely phenomenal tonight. And as we kind of look at this whole new virtual space that we're in, I hope if you all are open to it, I hope you all don't mind joining us for more of these, and being able to invite other people and make the conversations even bigger. Leslie, to your point, so that we can really start to figure out how we have these conversations. How do we equip ourselves with knowing what to say? Each of you are so so uniquely gifted and graced by God, created by God with a unique and special purpose. Um, and I don't think it was an accident that God orchestrated for you all to be a part of this conversation. Um, and folks have shared it in the comments on YouTube. I will share it with you. You matter to God. You matter to your families. You matter to your church family. And most importantly, you matter to the world, because God created you to do something absolutely transformative in the world. And you are the only person who can do what God created you to do in the world. And so I want y'all to know we're going to partner with you. We are all figuring this thing out and how we tangibly move forward. But I want you to know my goal is to raise as much money as we can so that we can figure out how we resource your ideas, because you all know exactly what to do. And Jared, your point about Black businesses on the square, I don't know a lot, but I know that can be a good starting point for us on how we even transform our community. Which ultimately, if we do that, we can transform the county, the state, the nation, and I believe the world. And I'm crazy enough to believe that God can empower us to do that. So let me say thank you to y'all, because y'all are dope. So listen, what do y'all want to say as we conclude? Everybody is showing y'all mad love on YouTube. Like, I just need y'all to know y'all are absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that, y'all. Your feedback tonight has been amazing. And I'm like, yo, we have some of the brightest minds out of your generation. I'm being real, Chuck. I didn't even know Generation Z was a thing until a couple days ago, because I had just kind of lumped y'all in there with millennials. And then my wife was like, no, babe, they're not millennials. We old. Millennials are old now. So like, y'all are like the new millennials, all right? Like Generation Z, like your energy, your fire, your mind, God has given it to you. And I'm excited for us to take advantage of it and support you and help you develop into what God ultimately has created and designed you to do. So what do y'all want to say to us as we leave? No question to jog your thoughts. What do you all want to say to us as we prepare to wrap up tonight's conversation?
I thought Jared was right about what he said about voting. Like, if you really want to change something, like, go to the polls and vote. But don't just vote thinking like how it was like that thing like Donald Trump and Hillary, like, oh, I don't want a woman president. Like, really go and look into them. Don't just be going like, oh, I want a man. Like, just really, if you want change, just go vote. Like, and vote for a lot of things, not just president. Like,
Oh, I have something. Support your local Black businesses, most definitely.
Mm.
Educate people. Don't get mad at people for not knowing stuff, but then you never tell them what's right. Educate them so they can tell people, and like spread the word and stuff.
Beautiful. Leslie?
I'd like to say, even though it's been way too long, I feel like we should all be okay with baby steps sometimes. When you see someone who you've never seen post before post, you don't have to thank them, but just acknowledge it in your mind and be like, okay, that's one step further. Be okay with one person seeing you do great, because that makes a difference as well. And also just feel like it's easier said than done, but don't judge how people react to anger and sadness. And I feel like we should all just try to understand each other as Black people, and that will help us be a more united front for the rest of the world and for the government and for white people to see us as one.
Beautiful. Mr. Jared.
Yeah, honestly, I would say go out there. Go out there. Like, you see there's people protesting. If you able-bodied, go protest. Get you a sign. You don't even have to make it fancy, right? You could just write Black Lives Matter. You could write I Matter. You could write anything on a poster or something and go out there and protest peacefully. And if you're out there and you see some people looting and stuff, try to catch one of them and just talk to them. If you can't, don't get yourself hurt or nothing. Don't put yourself in no danger. But if somebody and at least bring them and say, hey, listen, that's wrong. Let me tell you how you can make some real change happen. That can be effective in its own, especially since right now, I don't think anything is gonna calm down the masses. I don't think anybody's gonna calm them down because I get it, and I'm right there with them. If my mom wasn't such a strong woman, I would be out there right now, And so I just want to say thank you to everybody in the village, everybody who was part of the Grove. If any of my mom's Facebook friends who aren't church members saw her posts, thank you for letting me realize that I do matter, that I am part of something bigger. It's not just about America, because like you said, I believe God can empower us to do world change, to change things globally. And I agree with that as well. So I would just say thank you for empowering us, because it's been a very tough year. Last year was tough. The beginning of this year, it feels like it's crazy. Just everything is so crazy. Just I feel like it's very helpful if you're not judgmental and just try to put yourself in everybody else's shoes, because everybody is going through everything, and you never know how it's affecting people. So I would just say thank you for, everybody being there, spreading love, and just showing that they care.
Is it okay if I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. For protesters, be very careful. Even though you might be protesting peacefully, people are like white supremacists, police officers, they're coming after Black people. So cover your face because of coronavirus, and for your own safety, cover up tattoos and piercings that are very prominent about you, cover your hair, cover your body in general, wear ankle supporting shoes. So if you have to run, you can. If you have your tear gas, milk isn't the most sanitary and the best. It relieves pain, but not the best. Like tear gas and stuff like that are acid base. So you'll use water and something else that's, I forgot the compound. Well, part that, and you could use that, but don't let people put cold milk in your face. It's not sanitary, and it won't help in the long run. And that's really it. Just be careful, be safe out there.
And
Can I say one more thing?
You done been to some protests we ain't know about.
Make sure you got the location off on your phone.
Yeah, turn your location off and take notes from Hong Kong.
But bring someone with you.
Yeah, especially women. They're trafficking women out there because they know that they're by themselves.
All right. Leslie, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you as well, on the same note as Jared. All the people who had something to say under my post, it really warmed my heart and gave me a lot of encouragement to keep fighting in my own way. And also, I just want to say that if protesting isn't your thing, there are many other things that you can do. So just find where you are right now. I am working behind the scenes. I don't really feel comfortable going out with coronavirus, and that's okay. So just find your place to speak out and use your voice.
Absolutely. Well, family, thank you all for joining us tonight for No Justice, No Peace, a real conversation with Generation Z on being Black in America. Tonight was the first of what we hope will be many conversations. And so I am so thankful to all of these amazing young people who were a part of our conversation tonight. So even on the YouTube virtual room, help me give it up for our panelists tonight. They are absolutely phenomenal. Jared, thank you for your thoughts. And also want to acknowledge your parents, Mr. Doug and Ms. Lisa Walker, absolutely phenomenal people. And I'm so grateful to God for them and for you, your sisters, your aunties, your whole family. Y'all are amazing people. Love y'all. And I also want to recognize Miss Leslie Cohen, our Maya Angelou of the session. Amazing piece that you wrote. So grateful to God for you and for your parents, Mr. Sean and Miss Chandra Cohen, your sisters, I'm so grateful to you for your entire family. You are a phenomenal part of our congregation, and I'm so grateful to you for being with us tonight. And then Ms. London and Ms. Egypt, so grateful to you all. Absolutely phenomenal. Listen, y'all are gonna be like the Jeff Bezos of the world. Like y'all just have this entrepreneurial mind that is like astounding to me. So I'm grateful to God for you and for your parents as well, Miss Goldie, who's a part of our congregation. And so grateful to God for y'all. And I just want you to know you are absolutely phenomenal people. And I am looking forward to what God is going to do in and through your lives. Thank you for your comments tonight. Thank you for sharing your truth and so being so real and so honest with us. And as we prepare to conclude tonight, I'd like to conclude, if you all don't mind, with a word of prayer. So God, thank you for this time that we've had to share together tonight. Thank you for Jared and Leslie and London and Egypt. God, I ask that you would bless them, that you would gift and grace and cover them even now. Cover all of our young people. Cover our people as a whole as we traverse this nation. Father, I ask that you would touch those that are protesting, that are seeking to move forward change. Touch those who are even wrestling with their thoughts and feelings in this moment. And God, I ask that you would continue to give us the information we need, give us the knowledge, give us the instructions, the steps we need to move the ball forward on justice and freedom and liberation for our people in this nation. We love you, we honor you, we bless you. We look forward to the next time that we have together for these type conversations as we continue to be transformed people, prayerfully transforming the world. In the strong name of Jesus, we pray. We all say together, amen.
Amen.
Well, family, I'm going to disconnect us from YouTube so that I can say good night to all of our panelists. Thank you all for joining us. Do us a huge favor. Make sure that you share this video so that others can be a part of this conversation. As always, I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Y'all take care. Peace.